Hello, guys. Today I bring to you another ritual deck that I've been testing around with more than Necros, because unfortunately, as I like to say, Necros is unplayable in its current state. Um, and this one is Nephthys. In this case, it's pure Nephthys, not the Dino variant. A quick reminder that this deck is also very compatible with Dinos. You could play a small or big engine with Dinos. So anyways, the deck is mostly a Simorg Turbo kind of strategy, while also being able to produce a little bit of advantage and link spam. The main merits of the deck are that they can play pre-prep and prep at the same time and search literally any of their ritual monsters by using both of those cards. Keep in mind the new one, the Conductor, cannot be searched off pre-prep, but these two can. So keep that in mind, though you will probably never search this off pre-prep. And also that these monsters float really well and that they have some cool interactions. And they have a really good link monster. So anyways, for ratios, one Cerulean Sacred Phoenix. This is a target for Conductor and also a target for their link monster, the Sacred Preserver. It's mainly because it's a level 8 winged beast that I play this, but also because it's a big monster and it can help with OTKs. Because it has a nice popping effect where you can pop monsters that your opponent controls. Two Disciple of Nephthys. This is the Senju of the deck. It's not as good as Senju, unfortunately, but the good thing about this is that you can special summon this. And if you special summon this, you can get a lot of value. And also, if this card is destroyed, it adds a Nephthys spell or trap in your next standby phase. So you got a little bit of floating there. The second effect does not come up too much with this. One Matriarch. This is a Monster Reborn for the deck. All of these have like the thing that they have to destroy one card in your hand. It can be a spell, trap, monster that they can destroy. And the nice thing is that triggers Baby Cerosaurus, if you want to play this, or the other Nephthys cards. So Matriarch summons a level 4 or lower Nephthys monster from your graveyard. And there are basically only level 2s, so this card is pretty decent, but it's kind of a brick. Same goes for Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. We only play it because it's a level 8 and because it does something when it gets destroyed. This card is going to trigger literally every turn 3 that you're going to play the stick and not get hand trapped to death. So back row decks beware. Otherwise, yeah, this is also Garnet in this deck. Triple Manju, the best normal summon in the deck, besides Apex Avian, because sometimes you also normal summon Apex Avian in this deck. Though technically Apex Avian and Thunderbird, you don't need to play Thunderbird, but I recommend it if you want to build a good board. Apex Avian gives you a negate that is an Omni negate, which is really nice. And now for the stars of the deck, Conductor of Nephthys. This ritual summons from your deck when it's summoned, and that is pretty good. So the special summon from deck literally counts as ritual summon, and that is super duper important because it allows you to use the effects of Devotee. And when this card gets tributed or destroyed by a Nephthys card, but this time it has to be a Nephthys card that attributes or destroys it, so keep that in mind. Then you can activate it, and during the next standby phase, you can destroy one Nephthys monster from your hand, field, and deck. You don't have to destroy from hand or field or deck. You can choose. If you don't have any targets in deck, you can still destroy from hand. If you don't have any targets on hand or on field, you can destroy still from deck. So that can come up. The Devotee of the Nephthys. This summons a Nephthys monster from your deck, so it can summon any of these 4. Keep in mind, this cannot summon the ritual monsters because ritual monsters have a game mechanic for those. And The second effect of this is if it's in the graveyard, and it's pretty easy to get into the graveyard after it's summoned, you can destroy a Nephthys card in your hand, and then special summon this card. So it is pretty good combo with Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. Then we play Incantation Chalice Slime, 2 Candle, and Talismandra, as well as Incantation Inception. The deck has a severe lack of ways to search for ritual spells, so you have to pay the incantations so that you do not break on prep, etc. If you have the money, you could also play Pot of Prosperity. That will basically say that you never break because that card is busted. But otherwise, they allow for combos, so I would recommend you playing them. You can decide if you want to take out a Candle and the Inception for more hand traps, but I recommend that you play this ratio that I'm playing. Triple pre-prep, triple prep, self-explanatory. Pre-prep is so good. It's an activate once per turn, which is pretty neat if you play against monster boards, or if you get judgmented on this for no reason whatsoever. Prep is not once per turn at all, and is the better recovery card. The main skill of the deck is trying to save prep for as long as possible to get even more value, because you want cards in hand with this deck. Triple Rebirth of Nephthys. This is a cool ritual spell, because you can you can summon any Nephthys monster with this, and it's equal or exceed with this. Unfortunately, you can't summon from graveyard or anything. But if you tribute either this, the Sacred Phoenix of the Cerulean, or a Devotee of Nephthys, in the same chain, it gets to destroy one card non-target. So this card outs Mystic Mine, or back row, or pretty much anything. And they don't know if it pops. So this is if they know that they're playing against this deck and you have Devotee in hand, they have to negate this card. And it's not once per turn at all. So that's another plus. Shout out to Necros for having once per turn ritual spells. Incantation Inception. This is basically because we need more ritual spells. And also, if you draw this, this is really good to destroy off Nephthys monsters, as well as discarding off Child Slime, of course. Unfortunately, you can only tribute incantations for this, but that's fine. One Called by the Grave, because this card should be banned. This card is ridiculous. If you open this, you're basically winning already. If you open this with combo. Triple Gamma and Driver. This is going to be our hand trap lineup. 2 Nib and 3 Ash. Gamma can come up on your turn a lot because you're playing really powerful spells, and like if you throw a pre-prep now, chances are if they have an Ash, they're going to Ash that. If not, then they're pretty much pretty good players, or they know what your deck does. But generally, if they Gamma that, that's really, really strong. If they Ash pre-prep. So having Gamma for that is almost mandatory. Then 2 Nib and 3 Ash. 3 Ash is basically for one card only, and that is Red Eye's Fusion, because this deck has slight difficulty dealing with Dragoon plus back row. But that is pretty much any deck, because Dragoon plus back row is pretty strong. And 2 Nib, because Nib is the least impactful hand trap. Weirdly to say, because a lot of decks like prepare to play around this, but still it can like come in handy in combination with another hand trap, because if you have another hand trap, it's chances are that they either can't trigger this or can't play around it. So either way, you have like a good chance of being able to play on your turn if you go second. And 8 hand traps is enough, is like the correct ratio to see exactly one hand trap. Unfortunately, we have to play the driver, so that's kind of sad. Side deck is meta dependent. I would suggest siding a barrier statue for Eldritch, because Eldritch cannot deal with this card whatsoever. Specifically under the Simorg link, because the Simorg link says you can't target either of them. Chronicler of Nephthys is not needed for the side deck, but if you want to play in a more grind-focused format, I would recommend you maining this, because this is a graveyard recursion. This is a Kagari for the deck, and if it gets destroyed, you can also Kagari again, but you can't add itself back. So keep that in mind. It's also a neat option. Then for our extra deck, Zeus, mandatory. This card is so good. Sky Cavalry Centauria. This is our way to. This is one way this deck can out Dragoon, and we have a really easy time making rank 2s. So playing this is pretty much mandatory. Or at least this prompts Dragoon negate, so this is important. Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin. I play this as a second target because this can make big monsters to 0, so it helps you run over like big stuff like a Nibiru token. And the nice thing is it does not need to negate the effect. It just says one face-up monster. Nephthys the Sacred Preserver. This card is pretty nuts. First of all, it's a Winged Beast Link 2. So that is like one of the requirements we need to summon Simord. And second of all, it has this effect. You can ignore the second effect basically all the time. But add one level 8 Winged Beast from your deck to your hand, then add one ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. Then you can add one ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. So you can add any of these cards here. So you could add Daedra Thunderbird or Dark Nephthys, Garonix. You could add the Simorg level 8s, the Atmosphere, whatever, or Augustus, or even Ryza the Mega Monarch. But the best targets are Cerulean Sacred Phoenix and Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, because this deck, of course, is Nephthys. And the name is pretty important. And yeah, you play 2 of this because this can come up in the grind game. Its second effect says that you can destroy one Nephthys monster that it points to and summon another one from grave with a different name. But unfortunately, it negates effects, so it's kind of bad. Then Access Code Talker. This deck is full of spellcasters, so Access Code Talker is pretty easy to make. Appaloosa. Sometimes you want to end on Appaloosa, so having this is a good option. Phoenix, Unicorn, standard. Selene, as said, this deck summons a lot of spellcasters. All of the level 2s are spellcasters. So if you want to make a link for like access code, that's pretty easy. Then speaking about our win condition, Simorg, Bird of Sovereignty. This summons Apex Avian basically. It can also summon Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, but you're basically never only summoning Apex Avian off this. Psyframe Lord Lambda. This is a way to play around Nib if you open Gamma. I'll show off the combo where you play around Nib at the cost of a couple more negates. Harpy Conductor, this is in case you don't want to link off the second Nephthys, the Sacred Preserver. So having this as an option is also good. Union Carrier for infinite negates. And Artemis is to literally link off Devotee. That's the only point of the card. And also it makes Union Carrier because it's a light monster. So anyways, I'm going to show off a couple combos here. So this first one is how you play around Nib, like the save combo. So we first like normal summon Manju at Chalice Slime, and Chalice Slime is going to discard a card to special Talismandra, and Mandra is going to add as Devotee. If you want to play, if you know that your opponent has no hand traps, you're going to add the Conductor instead. But if you want to play around hand traps, I'd recommend adding Devotee and sequencing it so that you first try to summon Devotee, and then if you have the possibility of summoning Conductor, summon Conductor. And then Conductor can summon another Devotee or the Cerulean Sacred Phoenix from deck. But the main point is you want Devotee on field because you want it properly summoned for its second effect. So we're going to properly summon it, activate its effect, and summon Matriarch. Now we're going to... now we're at 4 summons because Incantation, Manju, Devotee, Matriarch. And if we have a hypothetical Gamma in hand, which I put here, we don't need it for the combo. We can play around pretty much any monster hand trap from here going on. Now we're going to activate Matriarch to summon back Devotee. Then we're going to link off both of them to summon Sacred Preserver. And Preserver is going to add us the Sacred Phoenix and the Ritual Spell. This can add generic Ritual Spell, so it can even add Inception if you open up with it. Then you can activate Devotee, popping Sacred Phoenix, and then you go into Simorg. So this is the most basic play of the deck. You could also pass on off Lambda if you want to like mind game your opponent. That is a really good way to deal with it. You can also play Dragoon in this deck if you feel like it, but I don't like Dragoon again because it's a bricky card. So anyways, we end on Sacred on the Apex Avian. Unfortunately, not targeting protected, so keep that in mind. Lambda for our Gamma if we opened a Gamma. And yeah, so that is the standard combo. If you need a little bit more oomph and are not afraid to play around Nib, like going, you win the dice roll going first. Then this combo is the best. So it's also 2 cards plus a discard. So anyways, Manju, add Chalice Slime discard random card. And also Prep is going to add us, in this case, Devotee. I wanted to show around how you would do it. Chalice Candle, you add Inception, and then you go Inception, activate, and go Devotee effect, summon Matriarch. Here, I'm not doing this, but intentionally to show off like the minimum requirement for the combo. If you want to go nuts, you could do Inception effect, discard Chalice Slime, add Inception, special Talismandra, and Talismandra add Conductor. And then Conductor summon another Devotee, and then you have 5 monsters, so you could extend even more. And then you could summon it a little bit differently. Like, for example, for targeting protection. I could do it quickly in like another test. So then we go here with Matriarch, summon back the Devotee. With its effect, destroying the... yeah, we're going to destroy a card for this, which is probably the Inception. Then Nephthys, Sacred Preserver. Add Phoenix and Ritual Spell. Then Devotee effect, destroy Sacred Phoenix. Link 3 into Simorg. Union Carrier equipped to Simorg. And then Simorg effect, special Apex Avian, and now we have the Infinite Negate loop. Yep. So that is how you produce like a pretty solid board. Now I will quickly demonstrate what you would do if you could summon with Chalice Slime in this case. So here we opened this combo, basically. So we go with this. Then effect of Helm is going to add us Chalice Slime. Discard special Candle. Candle adds Inception. Inception effect, special Devotee. Devotee effect is going to special us our Matriarch. Matriarch is not going to use its effect for now. Now we use Inception. Oh yeah, in the last video I destroyed Chalice Slime for Matriarch. Sorry. And Inception is going to summon a Talisman Draw. Now we can use Inception here. Summon Conductor. And then Conductor effect can summon us our Devotee. So we kind of overextended here already, so keep that in mind. Then we are going to go for Link 2. Keep in mind that we want to link off a Devotee and not the Matriarch. We're going to go, in this case, for our Sacred Preserver to add back more cards. Keep in mind that this combo right now would be super vulnerable to Nib. They may even wait with Nib just for it. And then you can go here into your Sacred Phoenix. So you could either go here for Appaloosa, I think. Yeah, you could go for Appaloosa here if you wanted to. If you don't want to play the infinite negate combo just because the brick is too much, you can go for Appaloosa here. Then do Matriarch, destroy Inception, special Conductor. Then effect of Devotees, special itself. Like those two off, you can go for for the Harpy Conductor. And then you can go here for your Simorg. Alternatively, you could have also summoned Simorg up there, and then instead go for Appaloosa down here. But this is like slightly better in terms of like game plan. Even though you sacrifice the targeting protection on your Apex Avian. So this is a pretty okay board. Unfortunately, this board loses to Talents plus Force Apex Avian. So this is like pretty simple how you can combo off with this deck. Going second, you would try to go for Zeus plays or even Access Code Talker. I'll see if I can find a good replay. I tested this a little bit in Rated. This is the last couple games that I've played here. I'm currently a pretty bad rating, but it's going to be fine. Here I'm gonna look at this one. And this is versus Hero, I believe. So he's gonna go here for his mask change play. And this hero player is playing around Nibiru, so he's not going for ultra combo here. He's not going for anything extra. I don't know what his hand is. I don't know that he has Malicious or Stratos. He could have gone for a lot more, but he wants to play around Nib. So I think this play is good of him. And I open pre-prep, prep. So I know that I have to play around Darklaw. And so what I'm going to do here in this case is I'm going to go and set the pre-prep, activate prep. He's going to voluntarily activate Darklaw. And in this case, it doesn't matter what he discards. The only thing I hope that he doesn't banish is the Devotee. Because if I get to keep this Devotee, I get to pop off of Rebirth of Nephthys for free. He can hit, the best card to hit is Chronicler for him, for me. So he's going to roll, and he's going to hit Conductor, which is fine. Now I activate Pre-Prep, add Rebirth of Nephthys, add Devotee. And now I go for Devotee, Tribute Devotee, Special Devotee, and then I get to pop Darklaw. And what's really important is now that Darklaw is on the graveyard, Rebirth of Nephthys goes to graveyard instead of getting banished. So I can recycle it later. Now I go for Devotee effect. I hope that he does not have any hand traps. He was playing 45 cards, so it was pretty unlikely that he would have hand traps because of bad deck building. Then I pop Chronicler so that I get this effect. Its effect in standby phase, in my next standby phase. So now without normal summon, got 2 monsters and I searched Matriarch off of Disciple. And that's the main reason why you play Disciple, so you can search another one, so you get the resources you need. Then I go for Matriarch. I wanted to add Matriarch, but apparently I added Conductor instead. But there are a couple of plays here. So I add Conductor instead because I got Rebirth of Nephthys plus Conductor here. So now I go for a Nephthys Sacred Preserver. Add myself the Phoenix. Rebirth. Then I activate Devotee effect. Special itself. And now I use Rebirth of Nephthys to pop Solid Soldier. And now I'm going to go for OTK with Conductor effect plus going into Selene. Okay, so now I summon Sacred Phoenix. I could technically pop 1 card more because I have Rebirth of Nephthys in hand. Apparently I did not go for OTK because I did not have enough spells in either graveyard. But if I would have had 1 more spell in grave, for example, if I would have destroyed this instead of Sacred Phoenix, I could have gone for OTK. I just noticed. So I have a slight misplay here. So I said, if I would have destroyed Rebirth of Nephthys, I could have gone for OTK with Sacred Phoenix plus 53,000 attack access code. So keep that in mind. That this deck is also highly skill intensive. Good, you need good sequencing. Then I go for Simorg here, and then Simorg is going to summon Apex Avian. And now I pass off with Nibiru plus Apex. And now he's basically forced to overcommit into a Nibiru because I have game threat, and he does not know my last card, which is good. So he has to gamble that I don't have Nip. He's going to go for the Plasma play, and I am going to do anything that I can do to stop it, so I destroy Pharos. Because Pharos would have been 2 summons, and that would have been Plasma. And now I nib him as soon as I can, and then he scoops. And then second game here, he lets me go first. I go for pre-prep, and then prep. I'm really hard trying to bait the Droll and Lockbird. Right now with Gamma, the nice thing about this deck is that it does not really have to play into Droll and Lockbird. It can get destroyed by Droll and Lockbird, but only if your hand is like pure searches. So now I'm gonna try to like bait him with Gamma mostly. And now, but apparently he's not taking the bait. So either he has no hand trap or he's like waiting. And now I'm gonna go for Sacred Phoenix, Sacred Preserver. Add the Cerulean Phoenix. Add this because I already added Sacred Phoenix Heart Drawn, and this is why you play Cerulean. Now I go for this, destroy the Rebirth of Nephthys to get more value and still get like triggers. I could have destroyed Sacred Phoenix instead, but hey. Hindsight is 2020. I'm going to add Conductor and the Ritual spell back. And now I'm going to go for effect, not this effect. This is once per turn. I wanted to do Matriarch. Matriarch is going to destroy the Sacred Phoenix to special back the Conductor that I correctly summoned. And then I have a lot of link materials, so I will go for our Simorg. And then I go for Lambda here. IP Masquerena, apparently, not Lambda. I could have gone for Lambda instead, but I thought this is like the better play because I can take out more monsters. And the main thing you want to do against heroes is like take away their body count. So my main goal is to play around talents with Apex Avian. So the only things I can negate, have to negate, is the third summon when he adds plasma, or I have to negate Fusion Destiny. Those are the only targets I really want to negate. And IP Masquerena, I'm going to save for when he gets 3 monsters on board. I'm going to like unresolved chain that to go into Phoenix. So this is built with IP Masquerena. So I'm going to recommend that card too. So he goes for the Solid Soldier plus Stratos. He's going to try to play into Nib and OTK me, or at least shut me down with Plasma. So now I know that I really have to play around Plasma. He goes discards Mali. Uh, this is a little bit of miscommunication here because he did not declare Ferris. I would have negated Ferris effect to set to put it into a continuous trap to get a continuous trap off of it when it's special summoned, so that I get the summon count up of him and like trigger his stuff just in case. But he like does not activate it, so I would have instead unicorned it if he wouldn't have summoned anything off it, because he could have then activated Mali. But then we go and like confirm it off because this was bad communication here. So we revert the game state a little bit because now he wants to activate increase for no reason whatsoever, which is like cheating. So we reset game state, and then what I'm going to do is Ferris effect to set a continuous trap, Apex Avian it, and then as soon as he tries to summon Mali, I'm going to do Masquerena with Matriarch into Phoenix, I mean into Unicorn. And then I'm going to discard Cerulean to shuffle back the Mali, and then he should be losing the game because he has no Destiny hero to summon. So yeah, this is basically how the deck plays out. This is kind of a long video, but I wanted to showcase this deck because it's, first of all, a lot of fun, and second of all, probably the most forgotten, underrated ritual deck out there. And yeah, I hope you guys like this, and see ya.